Welcome to Addo Elephant National Park. Welcome back to Carolina in the Wild. In this new video series, I take you on a special journey. 5 nights in Addo Elephant National Park in South Africa. On a self-drive safari. With a tent, camera and lots of nature. After a short drive from Jeffreys Bay, we entered the park through the southern gate. The reception area is quite small compared to the main gate further north.
We have just checked in. It was our first time checking in at the south gate. Usually we arrive at the main gate, but this time we came from that, so it was more natural to enter through the south gate. It is quite nice. It's a small reception. It would have been a fast check-in if there weren't a large travel group ahead of us. But anyways, now we are on the road inside the park. We have encountered already some baboons blocking the road, but we didn't stop for them now because we have to drive all the way up to the main camp, because this is where we are gonna stay this night. And we have to find a nice campsite. As the locals of you might know, there are not many small tent campsites at the main camp of Addo. That's why you have to come a bit early to find a nice campsite that is not too small to park the car there. See you up in the north, and we're gonna search for animals now.
On our way north, along the main road through the park, we already encountered our first elephants. And here is a top tip. Always be prepared to encounter animals anywhere and everywhere. Even if you can't see an elephant directly from the road, you might still hear or smell them. If you want to get close to elephants, it's best to turn off your engine to avoid disturbing them. Also, unlike in other national parks, you can approach elephants more closely here in Addo. Due to the lack of poaching in this park, the elephants haven't had negative experiences with humans, unlike in Kruger, for example, where you should always maintain a greater distance. Shortly after setting up our tent, we met our curious neighbors. A few vervet monkeys who seemed very interested in using our tarp as a trampoline.
Now we've just finished setting up the campsite, and afterwards we went for lunch because we were starving. We haven't eaten yet today, and it is now 4 p.m. So now after lunch we are heading out for our first game drive in the game area of Addo Elephant National Park, and let's see what we're gonna find.
Not far from the main gate, there is a lookout point, where you are allowed to exit your vehicle. From here, you have a view of a waterhole that's often frequented by birds, though less so by larger animals. Still, it's always worth taking the opportunity to spot wildlife. Soon after, we had our first sighting. Some zebras on the road. The animals in national parks are accustomed to vehicles, so they aren't easily disturbed by our presence. After a while, it began to drizzle. Not unusual, especially since we are visiting at the start of the rainy season. However, even when it rains, temperatures rarely drop significantly. In Addo, the rainfall is generally not as heavy as in Kruger, where entire roads can be washed away. Later on, we spotted an interesting animal in the distance. The eland, the largest antelope in the world. It can weigh up to a ton and is relatively rare to see in the park. At another lookout point, we searched for more animals, but weren't particularly lucky, possibly due to the less than ideal weather. Nevertheless, we appreciate every sighting, and patience often leads to the best wildlife encounters. And we were rewarded. A bit later, we had a close encounter with a very relaxed elephant bull, happily grazing on the lush grass. We are now heading back to camp to unwind for the evening. Tomorrow we'll be up early again, this time with a more detailed plan of which routes to take to maximize our wildlife encounters.
Good morning everyone! Today is day 2 of our Addo Elephant National Park trip. It is the first full day because yesterday we just arrived around noon and didn't drive too much because we needed to set up camp. So today we are starting early. We entered the park at 5:34. Hopefully we will have the park to ourselves for the first few hours because there is rain and even a thunderstorm predicted until 8 AM, so for another 2.5 hours. It is already raining. We are off now, trying to find some hyenas that we heard last night close to camp. Let's see what we're gonna find.
The first few kilometers of the morning were quiet. We barely saw any wildlife. So we decided to stop at Speckbaum. It's one of the few spots in the park where you are allowed to leave your vehicle and visit a hide to quietly observe some animals. And here we had our first encounters of the day. A few curious birds exploring our car, and a tortoise happily sipping fresh rainwater.
We have just arrived to the Speckbaum Hide. It's located not in the middle of the park, but quite far south when you're coming from the main camp. And there is a hide right next to a waterhole. Today I am not super optimistic to find something exciting because it was raining, not the whole night but a lot. Right now it's still a bit raining, but let's see if we can find something.
The waterhole itself was quiet, but the surrounding bush was alive, with birds flitting between the branches. Around 7 a.m., we paused for a quick breakfast and a much-needed coffee break.
After we didn't get lucky at the speckbone hide, we are now at Jack's picnic site. It makes sense that we didn't see anything there because it was raining the whole morning, so the animals don't need to go to the waterhole located in front of the speckbone hide to find some water, because they will find water anywhere in the park today. Yeah, but Jack's picnic site is just a short drive from the speckbone hide, so we used the chance to use the restrooms, because this is really the only chance where you can go to the bathroom in the whole park area, except the main camp for sure. So you should definitely use your chance to visit the restrooms here. It is also quite nice because you get a lot of secluded picnic areas, so you are protected from the sun or rain. Usually it is also quite packed here in the afternoon or around noon, because all of the tour operators come here with their guests. They are doing lunch here. But now we are the only people here at 7 in the morning because we need a second coffee desperately. We are still getting used to waking up early because we haven't been on safari for half a year now. So we usually need a few days to adapt, to wake up at 4 in the morning. Yeah, so we're gonna make some coffee, rest a little bit. Now the sun is coming out, so we will be more lucky to find animals later on because everything is drying up now. There is no more wind, so the animals should not hide as much as they did the first few hours today.
As the rain finally cleared, the animals began to emerge. Our patience was rewarded. Again, we spotted kudu, buffalo, and our first elephants of the day, as we made our way towards the southern section of the park. Just a quick reminder. Elephants may be gentle giants, but only if we respect their space. So when they are near, switch off your engine and simply enjoy their calm, majestic presence. Heading further south, we were already thrilled by the sightings we've had so far. But we had no idea that the most incredible moment of our entire trip was just around the corner.
The most insane thing just happened to us. We have finally found the lions in Addo Elephant National Park. We have been to Addo multiple times. I don't even know how often. 6, 7 times, 8 times. But we have never ever seen the lions. And now they are finally here. They are in the southern part of the Addo, close to a waterhole. And I think they went for a hunt last night because they look exhausted. Which is not unusual because lions usually look exhausted. And the best thing about the sighting is not even that we found the lions the first time in Addo, but we've also found the blind lioness, which is amazing. She's already quite old, even though she's blind, because her pride still supports her. So she still finds enough food, but just due to her family. And her eyes are just beautiful. They look kind of like a galaxy. I think it's one of the most beautiful animals I've ever seen.
After spending more than an hour watching the Pride of Lions, we finally decided to move on. On our way back to the main camp, we were greeted by a family of warthogs. And, of course, more elephants. Addo isn't called Addo Elephant National Park for nothing. It's nearly impossible to visit this park without crossing paths with these gentle giants. As we got closer to camp, even more wildlife appeared. A red hartebeest, a grey heron, a herd of zebras, and yes, more elephants. After this incredible morning game drive, we headed back to camp. Since I had some work to finish, we skipped the evening drive, but grabbed a few fresh groceries for dinner and planned something special for later. After sunset, we made our way to the hide at the main camp. And there, in the soft glow of the night, we watched a lone elephant drinking and grazing peacefully. it was the perfect ending to our second day at Addo.
Good morning to day 3 here in Addo, or the second full day in the national park. We are up early again in the morning. It's 5:37. We are already in the game area. In the morning we are trying to find some hyenas, so we're going down the loop through Harbor Dam, and afterwards we are crossing to the southern part of the park and maybe find the lions again. Fingers crossed, we might get lucky.
Turns out, this morning was surprisingly productive. We saw plenty of wildlife. Kudus, buffaloes, red hartebeests, warthogs, black-backed jackals, elephants, and even zebras. Because it was still overcast early in the morning, the temperatures stayed nice and cool. That usually makes for better game viewing, as many animals are still active and haven't retired into the shade yet. During a quick stop at the public restrooms, our car was temporarily claimed by a rather aggressive bird. Shortly after, we made our way to the southern section of the park, hoping to catch another glimpse of the lions from yesterday. But no luck this time. Instead, we were treated to more sightings of black-backed jackals, elephants, and buffaloes.
So we didn't find any lions, we didn't find the hyenas, we also didn't find a rhino, which is obvious. That would have been amazing. But we found lots of different bug species. We found 2 new antelope species today that we haven't seen on our visit this time. We saw a bushbuck and the common yucca. And we also found a lot of jackals. I think the whole park is occupied by black-backed jackals today. We have seen 12, I guess. It's gonna be 12 individuals on our morning drive, which is a lot. Yeah, because there are not many larger predators around technically, so the jackals thrive because there's a lot of food. There is enough water for them to find, so there are just a lot of jackals, but they are not always easy to find. Usually they are a bit hectic, they run around searching for food. It's tricky to photograph them, but today we saw some of them lying on the road, so we've got lots of amazing shots of them. As you might have noticed already, we have returned to camp quite early today because I had another meeting from 11 to 12. That's why I had to be back at camp at around 10:30, 10:45. Afterwards we got some lunch. Now it's, I think, around 1 o'clock, right? Yeah, it's around 1 p.m. and it is hot. It's about 31, 32 degrees, so we are sweating. That's why we're not driving out into the game area just now. We are going back later when it's gonna cool down a bit, maybe around 4 p.m, 5 p.m, something like this. But now we use the time to do a camp tour, so you can see what camp looks like if you have not already seen it. Yeah, and we will use this opportunity to go for a swim because there is a swimming pool and we are desperately looking for something refreshing, so we're gonna jump right in. I've created a separate video with a full tour of the Addo main camp, where we are staying. You will find the link in the video description below. There were only 2 other people at the pool. I think probably because most people haven't checked in yet, because check-in is usually after 2 p.m. And a lot of people left this morning, so the park is quite empty now, but I think it's gonna be packed over the weekend because now it's Friday. So probably a lot of people will check in today, but we have used the pool already. It was nice and refreshing, and now we're going to walk back to camp. It's about a 10-minute walk, which can be pretty long if it's 32 degrees outside, but we are still wet, so it's gonna be fine. After a short rest at camp, we headed out for our afternoon game drive, and it did not disappoint. Hi, how are you? Thanks, bye-bye. Thanks.
As the day began to wind down, we were lucky enough to spot blue cranes, South Africa's national bird. These elegant birds are endemic to South Africa and Namibia, and they symbolize bravery. It was the perfect way to end the day. With that final sighting, it's time to return to camp and wrap up day 3 of our journey.
Alright guys, that was day 3 in Addo Elephant National Park. It was a successful day even though it was pretty hot. We didn't see a lot on our evening game drive, which was expected because it was freaking hot, as I already mentioned. We had 36 degrees in the evening now. Now it's cooling down because there's wind coming. Hopefully we don't get rain again tonight, but anyways, we are sleeping in a tent and it's waterproof, so not a big issue at all. We've just ran to the shop to stock up on some beer. We're gonna enjoy a nice cold black label tonight. Gonna grill some burgers, and then it's a wrap for today. And tomorrow morning, same thing again, waking up early, trying to find some cool species. See you tomorrow. Good morning everyone, from day 4 here at Addo Elephant National Park. We are still on our morning drive. Now it's 8:30, so quite late already. We were trying to find some predators in the morning again, but we didn't get lucky. It is already quite warm. Yesterday it got warm around 10, 11-ish. Today it's already pretty hot at around 8. So the animals are hiding a bit more today. But we have already seen some cool stuff, like elephants of course, common duiker again, kudos, zebras, warthogs, some tortoises and stuff like that. But let's see what else we can find.
We set out in the morning and spent time driving slowly through the park, soaking in the silence and watching the landscape shift with the light. The animal sightings were fewer today, but we still had some beautiful moments with familiar favorites. Zebras and elephants calmly grazing near the road. Sometimes the quiet days in the bush are the most grounding. Days like this are a good reminder that not every safari is packed with action. Sometimes the animals are harder to find and the park feels quiet. but that's part of the experience. You learn to be patient, to notice the small things, and to enjoy the slower pace of the day. By midday, we returned to our campsite for a break. It was time for a simple lunch. Porridge and coffee, prepared with a view and shared with the sounds of the bush all around. And there's just something special about eating outdoors after a long morning of driving. No noise, no schedule, just the slow pace of safari life. Later in the afternoon, we took a short drive, hoping for 1 or 2 more sightings today. We spotted a black-backed jackal trotting through the bush and a group of vervet monkeys playing near the roadside. Not dramatic, but still one of those small moments that make the day worthwhile. Even without big sightings, it was a day to slow down, breathe, and take in the quiet beauty of Addo.
Good morning from day 5 at Addo. Today is our last full day here because we're leaving tomorrow morning, midday. So we're gonna make the best out of it, even though we are a bit late today because we've got caught up in a nice little chat with our neighbors from the campground. So we chatted a bit and we drove into the game area 10 minutes late. I think it's not that bad. We are now at the lookout point where you can get out of your vehicle, and we're gonna wait for a little bit because there are some zebras blocking the road for us to leave the lookout point by car. So yeah, we're just gonna enjoy the view and try to find something nice this morning. We finally found some predators. There were 2 hyenas right in front of us crossing the road. We just saw them for like 2 seconds and it was impossible to photograph them because they were disappearing right into the bush, into the thicket, and they were walking parallel to the street. We didn't get the chance to make a nice video or photo of them, but we saw them and that's all that matters. And now the red hartebeests are a little bit stressed. Not super stressed, but also not relaxed. Because I think there might be more hyenas around. Because usually either you see hyenas on their own during the day when they stroll around, or in their group. And because it were just 2 hyenas, I think there might be more around. So we're gonna search for them. But I don't think we get too lucky.
Here's another reminder. Never rush or pressure the animals, just so you can pass. This is their park, their road. When you're on safari, always give them time and space to move at their own pace. As the morning heated up, we found a group of elephants bathing at a waterhole. Elephants bathe not just to cool down, but also to protect their skin. The water helps lower their body temperature, and afterwards, they often cover themselves in mud or dust to create a natural sunscreen and insect repellent. Shortly after, a zebra gave us a subtle clue that something was hiding in the bush. And just a few seconds later, we saw it too.
We're just having the best sighting ever. There is a hyena taking a bath in a very tiny waterhole in the middle of the day. I think it's already 10 a.m, so it's pretty warm. And this hyena just came down this small hill, and now she's completely in the water, just the head is sticking out.
A hyena, heading toward a shallow puddle to cool off. This is one of my favorite sightings of the trip. Hyenas use water to thermoregulate, especially during the hottest parts of the day. Why they are usually more active around dawn and dusk. This was the first time I saw one resting in water in broad daylight in Addo. But this hyena sighting was about to get even more exciting, because she suddenly noticed something approaching. She didn't hesitate and left immediately. And then we saw why. A herd of elephants emerged from the bush and made their way to the waterhole. No question about it. In Addo, the elephants are the true rulers of the park. We already knew why they were using the smaller puddle. Because the larger waterhole was fully occupied. Here you can also see something interesting. The elephants in Addo aren't the typical grey you often see on TV. Instead, they appear more orange or reddish in color. That's because of the region's iron-rich red soil, which coats their skin after bathing or dusting, giving them that warm, earthy tone, unique to this part of South Africa. We have spent the afternoon in camp because it is freaking hot today. I caught up on some work as usually during the midday, and now it's 4:30 in the evening. We are still deciding if we head out for a drive or not. We want to because it's our last evening here, but on the other hand it is just freaking hot and we don't know if we're gonna see something. Yeah, maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. You never know what to expect on safari, but we already jumped into the pool again, like the day before yesterday. My hair is already dry after just a few minutes because it's so hot. Yeah, for now I'm just strolling through camp, searching for some shade because there's not a lot of shade at the campsite, unfortunately. But fingers crossed if we head out that we see something nice. In the afternoon, we mostly observed elephants cooling off at the various waterholes. Eventually, when they moved on, the zebras knew it was finally their turn.
This is our last evening here in Addo Elephant National Park. We are leaving tomorrow morning. So tonight we're just gonna make a final braai. We're gonna braai some burgers, and tomorrow morning we will just go for a very, very short morning drive, just an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Then we're gonna pack up the tent, put everything in the car and leave quite early. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment to let me know how you like Addo Elephant National Park.
On our final morning, the weather changed. It was overcast, foggy, and lightly raining. A moody, mystical atmosphere that made our last drive feel almost cinematic. And within our final 2 hours in Addo, we had some incredible last sightings. A large herd of buffalo, more warthogs, several jackals. And finally, we managed to film a bushbuck. We had seen a few earlier during the trip, but this was the first time, we captured one on camera. The morning light marks the end of our time in Addo. But the journey is far from over. Subscribe and let's see where the wild takes us next.